Good afternoon, guys. We're going to be going on today on a routine maintenance here at a landlord-tenant's property. We're going to go over a couple of things that majority of the companies want you to do on a proper maintenance, and some of the things that I'd like to show what is done on a routine tune-up for a residential home. So go ahead and stay tuned, hit that follow and like button, and let's get the day started. What I'd like to do first is start by changing the filters, customer supplied, to make it easy on you. Always turn the fan on or the system on to help that filter get sucked in. All right, now once we're in here, this is the air handler. Got our coil, blower motor. They have a UVC product, sanitize the air. A couple things we're going to check up in here is going to be static pressure, which is the blood pressure of the system, temperature splits, basic amp draws of the motor, and cleanliness of these coils. Now every attic is different, and some have actual spaces for you to stand, and some have limited room. So you only have one body, so make sure you take care of it, get some kneeling pads, and then let's get going. So in my service bag, I kind of have every tool we need. It's going to be my everyday maintenance and diagnostic bag. We'll take our pressure probes to start with. Taking a temperature split, where's going to be our return. You can see the plenum going to the filters. So we'll stick that red probe into here, and then we will go to our supply side and stick it in. As you can see, that light is on. We don't want the light to interfere with any temperature, so we're just gonna go ahead and shut that off. And let's get that put in. So we're about 85 degrees outside in Arizona today. So we're in the ideal temperatures to do a nice cooling maintenance. So we'll go ahead and log into our field piece probe app, and once it logs up, we'll be able to read our temperatures probes. It's 74 inside with a 55 degree wet bulb, and it's pushing out 52 degrees of cold air with a 21.9 degree delta, and we have about a 6 degree enthalpy drop. So it is removing the moisture properly and producing nice cold air. That's only one half of the thing we want to look for. Once again, you can take your probes out and then go ahead and get your static pressure probes to take that blood pressure of the system. We'll need the meter here in a second. And this service bag, I have enough pouches for everything. So on my left side, I got my static pressure probes. Go ahead and turn them on. It's been a while since I've done a battery check, so it looks like this guy's not turning on. So we'll do a single return and supply real quick, zero it out. We'll check our return static. 1.69, that's definitely not right. Take that out, zero it out. Oh my god, it's giving me a hard time today, huh guys? There we go. Zeroed it out. Now we put her in there. Pulling 0.33 on the return. Not bad. Make sure it's zeroed out when you take it out. And then the supply side. Make sure the probe's facing the direction of the airflow. .05. There we go. 0.12. So we're about a 0.44 total static. Thing's pretty good on static pressure. Remember to change this battery here by the end of the day, so both of those work. Put them back in the pocket that they're from and zip her up. All right. Next, we're going to go ahead and check the blower motor. And this model is a CBX27UH. If I remember correctly, it's going to be a variable speed motor. So it's kind of actually a little hard to take temperature split with the door open, or a amp draw with the door open, but let's go ahead and get the panel unplugged. Looks like we got 1/4 inch screws. And then we're going to be checking cleanliness of the blower motor. coil. Oh, that stuff. Get in there. Looks like got a little bit of dirt buildup on that wheel. A little bit of rust in that pan. We also like to check drainage while you're on a maintenance. Summertime, the job of the system is to remove all that moisture so it doesn't hurt to flush that drain. And if the camera couldn't pick up, this is what that blower wheel is looking like. We're going to flush the drain line by pouring the gallon water down to ensure proper flow. This backs up in the summer, that safety switch will shut off, therefore shutting off the power to the thermostat, notifying the homeowner there's a problem. It's always good to check with your company to see what they do on a routine check maintenance, and on our company here, a standard drain flush is required. You can always take off all the panels, but if the system has a filter rack, it's kind of my cheat to get in there without taking off this panel. So just remove the panel filter rack. Go ahead and get you a light and see what's going on. It's got some shades going on. With a variable speed motor, you do have to close the panel for the motor to ramp up. So we have the blower motor isolated, power plug back in. Amp draw on the blower amp clamp, and we'll just wait for the 5-minute time delay for everything to turn on to get our amps. Then once it's within range, we'll button everything up. All right, after that 5-minute time delay is kicked on, the motor system is turned back on. We're pulling 3.61 amps out of 7. Motor is amping fine. We're gonna go ahead and button this up, make our way down to the condensers, check refrigerant levels and all amp draws and cleanliness of outdoor coil. All right, so we're gonna check the outdoor temperature, the amp draws of all components. It is a 5-ton 14 SEER Lennox. It's about 86 degrees outdoor temperature in the warm Phoenix day, but we do still have low lows of about 49. So people aren't really using their air conditioning or heating systems right now, but it is a prime time to get checked, because as soon as we know it, we're going to be hot, balls to the walls, and people are going to be complaining that they can't get booked for a maintenance. The fan motor is rated for 1.8 and it's only pulling 1.07, which is good. And the compressor is rated for 26 and it's only pulling 14.7, which is also fine. We're going to check our refrigerant levels, and then we'll disconnect those, shut the system off, check our capacitor and outdoor fan motor amp temperature, and it looks like we do have decent superheat and subcool. It's about 14. The job of the indoor TXV is to maintain superheat, so we're at 14, and the subcooling is about 6. All right, usually you want these off. One thing I like to do is always check, make sure we're not leaking refrigerant. So I'll take my little pocket mirror, make sure nothing's bubbling. We seem good to go. Then we'll get those caps put back on. Last thing, like I said, is we gotta shut the power off, check that capacitor. You don't want to be checked in microfarads. Some say you'll want to discharge it. I like to just test the side of the unit. Yellow's for compressor, blue for fan. I like to just test the side of what we're going to be working on. So we're going to be looking for a 75 on the compressor side, and we're at 73.8. And then we're going to be wanting 10 on the fan side. And we're at 9.6. So it is slightly out of tolerance. We'll bring it up to the homeowner's recommendations, letting them know that the capacitor that regulates the voltage to the motors is failing. We wanted to replace that before it dies completely. Like I said, I always like to check the temperature of the motor, see how it's going. This one's running at 118. Typically, you do want to be right at the housing, but since it's not so hot out, it's not going to change that drastic. And then last, let's check the cleanliness of this condenser. It looks like it has been cleaned for a while. As you can see, doesn't look aggressively dirty, but we always want to get this thing cleaned once a year. This is an important job for it to reject the heat so the compressor and the fan can work properly without overheating in the summer. And that's a wrap. We just got to get these recommendations rid up, turn the power back on, put the thermostat back to the operation we found it. Now remember, this is a stir switch contactor, so it does have its own 5-minute time delay. So we will let it do its thing, because I know I put everything back the way it needs to be, and we're out of here.